Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Okay, we are here, the second R. Kelly trial. I didn't cover the last one because I didn't think it was as interesting as this one. So with the preliminary statement, nothing here is meant to be legal advice, right? So I'm not giving anybody legal advice. This is just my take on it. And the second thing is that this is fair use, and this is also alleged, right? Because I wasn't in the courtroom, I don't know all the facts, so this is all allegedly. But I wanted to preface that, so let's get started. So the R. Kelly trial started today, his second trial, and one thing I thought was interesting is the final makeup of the jury. So the final makeup of the jury is 4 white women, 4 black women, 2 white men, and 2 black men. This worries me a little bit just because it seems like a lot of people that support R. Kelly are black people. And I worry, and it's not even to sound shady, but it's just honest. Like, it's a lot of undercover R. Kelly supporters in the black community, and there are a lot of people in the black community that are low-key like, well, if he gets away, he gets away. I've heard it a lot out in the street. I've heard it in random places. I've heard a lot of people say it's not that big of a deal to them. So this worries me a little bit. So, one of the women in the jury says she might have seen the tape, but she could the surviving R. Kelly, but she believes that she can be impartial. Okay, so we'll see if she's going to be impartial. We'll see, if anybody appears to be an R. Kelly supporter, because like I said, the way it works is, if they're not impartial, they could sway the jury, and once trial starts, we'll be able to get insight on how the jurors' body language is, right? Because jurors are regular members of the public. They're usually not expert body language givers. So they have one of the first people to testify is a person who is an alleged victim of R. Kelly. I think we all know who this person is. It says dressed in a white blazer with her hair in braids. Her name is Jane. I saw somebody tweet, why would she go by Jane? We all know who she is. Well, it's not just about who knows who she is today. It's also about who knows who she is in the future. She is only 37 years old. So in 20 years, when this is all over and she's 57 and she applies for a job and they search her name, this is one thing that won't come up, right? It can be alleged, but for her to go in detail, it's also for future reference. Newspaper articles go away. They get pushed down in algorithms, but court cases don't, right? And then even though we think we know who it is, there's still a level of anonymity, and then there's, the word, and there's also a level of mystique, so it's not like 100% sure. So it says she's dressed in blazer, she has long braids, and she testified very calmly. So she probably practiced, before you testify, you should practice in the mirror. And they said that she discussed hundreds of encounters she had with R. Kelly, beginning when she was 14, and she looked at the prosecutors as she testified. Very deep. That's very powerful. And so then it says that she testified more after they came back from break, and she said that she is the girl in the infamous tape. So we all kind of have an idea of who she is. So they show pictures of her when she was 13 and 14 to illustrate how she looked at the time of the encounter. That is so powerful. That's a very powerful legal tactic because she is grown now. So the jury is looking at a 37-year-old woman testify. So they're not necessarily seeing a young girl, right? It's not the power, you don't have the powerful impact of seeing a young girl testify. So to help combat that, the jury is saying, well, look at these pictures. Look at these pictures of her when she was a kid. This is what she looked like at the time. This is the little girl who is this testimony, right? Very, very powerful. Then they asked her, why did he give her money at the beginning of the tape? And she said, because in case they were busted or anybody caught them, she could pretend to be a P word, ends with toot, institute, replace it with the P, so that he wouldn't get in trouble, right? So then she discusses the last trial in 2002 that she was, or I don't think she's the last one, I'm not sure, where she says that R. Kelly decided, so it says, why did she sleep with him? She said it was out of intimidation. He was an authoritative figure. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know how to say no. I just went along with things and it somewhat became normal. This is a very damning thing for him. The reason why is because she's not just saying I liked him, I had a crush on him. She said no, he was an authoritative figure, which is what we have said, which is what so many people who are thinking about the girls and the psychology behind the issue is, it's not just that there are little girls. If you put yourself in the mindset of a little girl, everybody says, I was a fast little girl. I was a fast little girl. Maybe you were a fast 16, maybe you were a fast 14-year-old. I don't know. That's your business. That's your parents' business. That's your family business. But me at 14 years old, I wasn't fast, right? And I did develop very early. So if you have someone who is an authoritative figure trying to do this to you, you might not understand. And I remember when I was a little girl, my mom used to tell me, if anybody does anything like this to you, you tell me. She said, I don't care if it's your cousin, your daddy, your brother, your uncle, your teacher, anybody does anything like this to me, you tell me. I don't care if they tell you, don't tell me. I don't care if they tell you they're gonna kill you. If they gonna kill, she used to go on this whole thing with me, like once every couple months, to remind me that she was a safe space and to let me know that there were people out here like this. So I say that to say that some 14-year-olds don't have that savvy. Every 14-year-old, just because one person was fast, doesn't mean that every 14-year-old is fast. And fast, what's fast? Fast is you think you fast, but you're not really fast. You're not really ready to be in a relationship, quote unquote, with someone over the age of 25 who's rich and famous. Maybe you're ready to sleep with the 17-year-old in your college, or maybe you're ready to sleep with the 20-year-old bum that hangs out at the park that you see when you go to the park. Maybe that's who you're ready to hang out with, but you're not at 14 mentally ready to deal with a 25-year-old successful rich person. That's not realistic to say that at 14 she could mentally comprehend, understand, and make grown adult woman decisions. Like, let's be real here. Like, if we're gonna break it all the way down. But anyway, I got myself on a tangent. So she says that she goes on to say that it became normal. She said she started to have feelings for R. Kelly, so she went along with his request to include her friends. She said, I was thinking I was in love at the time, and I was being submissive. I wanted to give him what he wanted, and I didn't want to make him feel like I wasn't cooperative. She says that he told her to, quote, keep a secret and not share it with anyone. And then did he record them? She said yes. She said recording started when she was 14. She said 3 recordings of her were played in the courtroom. Jeez Louise. And she said she watched them in preparation. She said did you watch it from beginning to end? She said yes. She said who is depicted? She said Robert in my tapes. So then she told the jurors that the living room showed her laying on the floor. I've seen images. There's like that before we were admitted that this was CP, right? It would be images all over. Like, if you Googled the words, if you went to images, it would just be all over the image. Like this scene that they're describing. And then it says, in the video, he gave her champagne. And then urinated. Okay? And then her voice got quiet. They said she went in the Colorado room. And is that a true depiction of what happened? She said they said because if anybody saw this, okay. Then she says let's fast forward. Her aunt Sparkle. I told you we knew who it is. Told her there was a tape leaked, and that it included. She said I was scared. She said to stress how R. Kelly told her to stress how important it was to deny it. So Sparkle been standing up for her niece. Y'all better give Sparkle a hand. Sparkle been standing up for her niece for how long? Okay? For how long? She been standing up for her niece. She fell out with her sister over this, and people said that Sparkle was just jealous because she didn't get a career. That's not true. She stood up for what she believed in, and that's why I follow Sparkle to this day. Most of y'all don't, but I follow her. I know her page is private. I follow Sparkle to this day because I believed in her. And then she said that when they went to he was saying, I can't help you. Then he sent them to Bahamas so they would not be, quote, accessible. There was a lot of negative attention happening around the videotape, and Robert wanted us to leave the country to find out and approaches going forward. She said that they were going to do as I asked and basically stay on his side. She said they lost their jobs and couldn't afford lawyers, and they didn't want to lose her too. This is so powerful because it's so powerful because it's like, that's kind of what the documentary said, is that he preyed on people who were in like a kind of peculiar situations, right? Her parents had lost their jobs and they didn't have any money. So they were stuck, and we don't want to tell on him because if we tell on him, a CPS investigation begins on us and we lose our daughter. So now we get the double weight of this 14-year-old, right? We have the weight of a rich, famous musician who's helping her with her music career tell her that don't lie. Then she has the weight of her whole entire family's finances and future on her decision. And I mean, come on now. And as a black girl from South LA, you want to protect your family. We were raised to be family oriented and to protect those that we love. This is very deep, and this is something. And then it says, after she was subpoenaed, he told her to stay loyal. She said she was put under oath, and they said, were you truthful when you were under oath before the grand jury back in 2002? She said no, and she said, what did you tell them that wasn't true, that I was not involved with him sexual, the word, and that he never made tapes. She said that, she granted that in exchange for her testimony, she admitted she'll be granted immunity from the perjury and the P institution. Excuse me. She said that she turned over 2 pieces of evidence, a silver cross that was visible in the tape, and her passport photo with her wearing the same necklace in the tape. Jeez Louise. She testifies that she moved to Kelly's mansion while his case was pending, but after he was acquitted, the relationship changed for the worse. As far as other women being involved, as far as the, and then Jane testifies that he abused her from 17 to 24. It involved being spanked and hitting. She also says he controlled her and would not allow her to work and leave. In 2014, Kelly helped her rent her own home in University Park and get a car to work. He paid for it, and in part he said that settlement on it. Did you have any kind of settlement with him? She said no. She said she finally started coming clean about her relationship to law enforcement a few years ago. And she said, I became exhausted with living with his lies. Woo! And right under this, someone has said she's lying because she could have easily told her parents. Wow. She says she says that while they were on the trip, her parents came to the conclusion that they were going to do as R. Kelly asked and stay on his side. She says that while she was in Mexico, she got a tattoo with R. Kelly's name and a heart. When she got back and showed it that she had to get it covered up. Then it also says, so that's something else that I missed. This is a lot. This is some explosive testimony. It's a very explosive testimony. Cross was brief, and they said that they are now adjourned for the day. She testified for 4 hours today. Jeez Louise. So I just wanted to go. Now, what do I think about this? I think this is really bad. I think this testimony is probably powerful. Excuse me, I'm sure in the courtroom it's having a lot of effect, and it's really putting a lot of the pieces together. People that are still saying she's lying because she could have just told her parents. Well, she clearly said here that her parents knew and that her parents didn't want to lose her. So this is the thing, Mom, yes, all of this happened, this is all true. And her mom and then her parents go talk about it, but we don't have no jobs, they're gonna take her away from us, CPS is gonna come, we have a son, our life will be ruined, we'll lose our kids to foster care like so many do. Okay, this isn't the worst thing that could happen to her, right? Like, parents start rationalizing it because they're desperate. Desperation, and if you don't know about desperation, if you think about if you look throughout history how desperation affects people, right? If you think about that family or that little town that went and traveled from the snow to California, and they were trying to travel and they got stuck midway and they had to turn to the cannibalisms to survive, and the way they treated each other and the things that happened. Desperation will do a lot of things. So let's not say that, oh, they could have just, because it has been proven through history, through human history, through science, that our brains trigger differently when it comes to desperation. So to say anything in this decision was easy, because my thing is, if I was a mom, I'd say, F it, I'm telling the truth, right? But I can't say that, because I'm not in the desperate situation where I literally have no money, no job, no resources, and this is a rich and powerful man, and I'm at risk to lose my daughter. It's hard. It's a really hard decision. But I just thought this was very interesting. We're going to keep it going. We're going to follow up this trial. I didn't want to just talk. You know, I saw people just read a message. I didn't want to just read messages. I really wanted to talk about it and really discuss it. I think that this is not good testimony for R. Kelly. Cross-examination has to be very delicate. The reason why cross-examination has to be very delicate is because this is a delicate witness. So you can't really jump in and grill her because of her story. She has a sympathetic eye, so when we start going and saying, oh, but this, it starts to look really bad. So they have to be very careful with how they cross-examine her. But I will keep you all updated. So with that, please like, comment, share, subscribe. We back up in this thing. And everybody have a happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Bye.